Stevie boy, is there a possibility of Diaz and Canade leaving this summer? Yes. Now, again, you said possibility, right? So I'm not sitting here saying it's definitely going to happen, but I would be a liar, mate, if I said to you that it isn't a possibility. The Diaz situation, Stevie boy, is one that has really confused me over the past month. We've gone from the player coming out and saying how much he loves it at Liverpool and that he wants to be here in the future. Then we see reports about Barcelona's interest again. Then there's some talk that even from, the Liverpool side of this, that Diaz could be sold this summer. And Canade, well, you know that situation, my man. That's down to whether we can get him to agree a new deal at terms that Liverpool are happy with or not. It does feel like there could be a bit of change in that centre-back department this summer. Kwanzaa's name still being mentioned with moves. Bundesliga clubs showing interest in him as well as Premier League clubs. So I don't know if it's going to be a case of if Canade signs, Kwanzaa goes, or if there's a possibility that both of those gents go. But right now, with Diaz, it's really interesting. I mean, I've said this so many times. I don't know why we'd be looking to rush him out the door. But all I can think is that there is a plan. And that the plan involves maybe sacrificing some players. And if Diaz shows a willingness to go to Barcelona and Barcelona show a willingness to pay the money that Liverpool want, then maybe it happens. Or maybe we revisit the likes of an Anthony Gordon or somebody else. So it's a lot of uncertainty at the minute, but I can't lie. I'm feeling really excited going into this window. Let me just run something by you. So let me just get the numbers involved for this Diaz situation. I want to have a conversation, maybe run the first poll of the night about this one. So there's been a couple of reports today. One report said that Hansi Flick has already given his approval to sign Diaz, which is kind of conflicting with reports that I'd seen a month or two ago to say that he'd vetoed the idea of signing Diaz. The next one, though, said that Barcelona are considering Diaz as their number one target for a while now. They're doing their calculations and the player is eager to come. Now, we do know that Luis Diaz in the past and his family have made no secret of the fact that he dreamt of playing for Barcelona. But if Liverpool got the 65 million pound, what do you think we should do? Do you think we should take it? Or do you think that we should tie him down to a new deal? And genuinely, this is one of those that I'm not arsed either way. And I mean that in a good sense. I don't mean I'm not bothered about losing Diaz. I truly feel if Diaz moves on, the club will have somebody ready to go, and we have Cody there as well. So genuinely, I'm relaxed about this one. This is not one of the deals that stresses me out, whether he stays or goes. But again, that's just one man's opinion. But let me ask what you guys think. So, should Liverpool take €70 million for Diaz, yes or no? And we'll come back to that one in a few minutes to see how you're all feeling. This comes from Newcastle World. So, a Newcastle fan site said that Liverpool are set to revisit a deal for Anthony Gordon. The piece goes on to say that the Reds would encounter very reluctant sellers after Newcastle previously suffered with a battle to avoid breaching the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules. The outlet goes on to say that Slot's a big fan and feels that the former Everton winger would be the perfect fit. Now, again, the only reason I bring this up is it makes it interesting because of the situation with Diaz. So if Diaz leaves and Liverpool brought in the money and they spent that money on Anthony Gordon, well, you're getting another homegrown player there as well. And I know Newcastle fans are saying there that they'd be reluctant sellers, but I don't know quite how reluctant with how well Harvey Barnes has done for them recently as well. I would be okay with that. With Liverpool, if we did lose Diaz and sold him, I'd be more than happy for us to bring in Anthony Gordon. I think, one, I love the bitter Blues fans' heads melting on it. That would make me smile. But also, I do think there's a player there. Sometimes too lightweight, sometimes pushed off the ball too easily. But for me, it would be, if you could do it for similar money that you get for Diaz, I think it would be a yes from me. I'm not saying he's the best left winger in the world, but I can see him wanting to come and make a difference at Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan. So, and while we're speaking about Everton, there's been some stories today linking us with Jarrad Branthwaite. I don't know what to say on that one other than if there was any way possible at all for Liverpool to try to sign Jarrad Branthwaite, just make it happen. Because he is incredibly gifted. This piece here from the Mail said Liverpool are monitoring Everton's Jarrad Branthwaite, who has a valuation of £70 million. So, what are we saying? Do we think that Everton and Liverpool are going to start to do some business together? Because we'd seen the stuff previously about Ben Doak and that Everton had been interested in him. We know that there's a whole host of Premier League clubs interested in Branthwaite. But 70 million quid? I wouldn't say no. Let me know what you think, though. Rodrigo or Gordon? Um, Rodrigo's a better player. Gordon would be cheaper. Gordon would be homegrown, and Gordon would run through a brick wall to play for Liverpool. So, look, Rodrigo's a better player. That's the answer. But I think Gordon would be far more likely. Personally, I don't see Liverpool and Edwards wanting to go over there and pony up a load of dough to Real Madrid, who've obviously taken 66, and yeah, I just can't see that happening. I think Liverpool should be just blocking Real Madrid's phone number at this point. Kai Hunter said Gordon is better than Rodrigo, and I would much rather have him for all the reasons that you've said. Christine said, has Nico Williams gone off the radar? For us, I believe so. I've seen reports of Arsenal and I've seen reports of Bayern Munich for Nico Williams. And there was a report last week that said Bayern Munich were willing to trigger that 60 million release clause, I think. The thing about players from Bilbao, though, that you have to be mindful of is that they're already, if they're in any way established at Bilbao, they're already going to be on good wages, because that's how they keep their players there. They don't pay the transfer fees, obviously, because of the whole Basque region thing, and they bring them in like Nico and Iñaki Williams, and they keep them there on good wages. So I just don't know if Liverpool would see value in a deal for Nico Williams when you bring the wages into it. DJ said, hey Craig, why are we linked with Nkunku? Yeah, I nearly laughed my ass off when I seen that one, DJ. Bayern Munich, again, in the mix there apparently for him. I think we were linked because we were linked previously. But for me, as soon as the words came out of his mouth that Paris are the club of his heart, I said it, and you can go back and watch previous streams. I said I don't want them near Liverpool at that point. I would have taken him, at one point I would. I think, did I think he'd flop as much as he has at Chelsea? No, I really didn't. I thought he would do a lot better than he has done there, but it'll be a no for me, mate, at this point. And yeah, like you, I found it quite funny that we were linked. Doesn't that wouldn't really be the brilliant window we'd be all dreaming of, would it? Talking about Isaacs, Julian Alvarez's, and then all of a sudden end up with a Chelsea reject. And then look, we already have a Chelsea reject who's done pretty well for us, in fairness to Mohamed Salah, but yeah, not on this one for me. With good management, as we do, Gordon could be a surprise talent. Look, I'm all for players who would run through a brick wall for the shirt and that wanted to be here. And Anthony Gordon, I think, would really, really, really not just buy in, but give everything if he came. So I'd be more than open to it. I was more than open to it last summer as well. There could be some part exchanges if you wanted to be creative about it, because there's some certain Liverpool players like Kwanzaa, like Elliott, that Newcastle are interested in. So maybe there's a way everybody can be creative there with the whole PSR stuff and move players around a bit. Let's wait and see what happens. Shane said, I also think Gordon could play false 9. Florian's position? No, come on. Don't be silly, Shane. That's Wirtz's position and nobody's robbing it until we know if he's going to Bayern or not. But I get you, my man. I get you.